Yo, what is up, guys? Here with the final round of Last Locals. Well, actually, this is a bonus round. The last round against Sky Strikers was the final round. But I had this player I was talking to earlier in the day, and this guy plays Voiceless Voice. And I can't remember if he offered or if I just asked, but I wanted to do an unofficial, basically, like, official, unofficial 2 out of 3 match, legitimate match. And so, yeah, so that's what we're doing here. Against Voiceless Voice, I know Voiceless Voice pretty well as I played with it when it was popping back in the day, but it's starting to surge up a little bit. I haven't played against Voiceless with New Water, so I figured this was a good opportunity to, because I remember the deck being a problem for Water, and I just want to see how it scales up now. So I end up winning the roll here. And my hand is Callby, Double Teus, Dragoon's Pike. So absolutely disgusting. We're holding that Callby real hard for the droll. So we start here with Teus Dragoons, and he drops, I think he drops an Ash on the Teus. Now, I can't. It's hard to blame him here. You don't really know how to. I don't even know how you hand trap Water with soft hand traps. I mean, because like all the chain blocking, and the minute I show Dragoons there, it basically just means I'm also showing Prince. And we didn't grab Prince there, but since he also uses an Ash Blossom, we know that we're safe from our squad going through. So since we didn't get the Shrine add off of Teus, we are now trying with the Pike. And so if he had Valor on hand, he probably should just Valor the Pike as well. But it wouldn't have mattered because the Teus, Pike, and Prince all add the same card. So it really didn't matter what he was doing here. And then at a certain point, Prince is the field, and we're just getting the Minstrel now. And it's like, what do you do from here? Now I will say, so we read the Valor, and yeah, he opens one of the trap cards, which is unfortunate. And I have Moulin, and I don't know if we even got the discards on the Moulin. Maybe we did. Yeah, held the call by the whole time. Did not care one bit about the Ash Blossom. So it was the trap and a Voiceless starter. I don't know. That's not a horrible one to have in the graveyard. So he just scoops it up from right there. I get it. At the same time, I have a hard time scooping. And whenever the times I have scooped, I always regret it. So, like, I don't know. I would always probably just wait. Also, you want to see what your opponent does, and you want to see what their end board looks like. And you never know if you have a shot or not. Your technical play could outshine on them, or like they might just not know how to play with your deck. I definitely do not plan on just early scooping, especially with Water. No one knows about Water. So, yeah. But yeah, so on to game 2 here. So, game 2, I'm going first, and my hand, oh my god, I definitely messed up here. I should care, but like this is an official match, I would have cared a lot more. My hand was Imperm, Impulse, Teus, Megalo, Prulia. So we have Prulia, which is awesome against Voiceless. But what I probably should have done here was, so he starts with a normal summon, so I know he has to at least normal summon, and I know he has to ritual summon, so I know I'm at least getting 2 draws. Now, an unfortunate thing that happens here is he normals Diviner, and I don't let it go through. I decide to interrupt it. I drew Prulia for turn. I honestly should have just waited, not imperm that thing, like hold the hand traps and trying to draw on some more engine. Because what that ended up doing was it ended up basically stopping him from playing, which is not good for me because I actually need him to play here so I can play. So this was definitely a mistake. So he's just debating what he's going to do. I think he's trying to find a line. 2 trap cards there. Not sure. Oh, it's a Judgment. He has Solemn Judgment and Valor, and I have one of the Break Traps, the Voiceless Trap, and I think the Searcher spell. So he's definitely just slapping the spell on board. I don't know what he's waiting for on that. Maybe he's trying to figure out what his end line looks like. Because like you probably just go the spell, and then you add, like, is it like Saphira or something? Like Saphira discards itself, sends a ritual spell, and then adds a monster. Like, are you not just? But I guess then you don't have low. So if without low, it doesn't matter that you're grabbing the ritual monster and you're ritual summoning because, yeah. So and I know that Skull Guardian can add low, I think, but he already uses normal on Diviner, so yeah, it's just not working out for him. Yeah, I probably should have let him play a little more. because that low. Oh, so he ends up just grabbing low, which is probably good on him. Gives him instant follow up for next turn. I think grabbing low is probably right there. And then I don't think I drew Ash Blossom. So a bunch of soft hand traps and not a lot of waters. So this is really just like Shrine and then Pray. So what do we send? We send the Megalo, and he lets it go through, which is crazy. He didn't Veiler it. Although you can look at game one and go, okay, I don't blame him for not Veilering it. And I guess it's the same outcome whether he Veilers or not. Because we get to Deep Sea King here, and we attempt to discard the Perulia to summon the 5, and this is where he Veilers. And I'm just like, yep, that's a nice Veiler. And then so I have Impulse plus Ash, and he has low in the spell to search. So yeah, I think and he gets Call By. Call By is disgusting. So yeah, this is not looking good for us. We definitely messed this one up. Definitely just needed to wait for the ritual spell, drop the second Perulia, and get 2 draws. We need to get 2 draws to see, and then just try and break his board with what we have. It wouldn't have been the worst in the world, the impulse could have come up. Especially if he tributes, if I let him get low on board and then he tributes it, and then low tries to summon himself back, so you can impulse the low, and then you still get your double draw. Yeah, I definitely need to let him play more. That's the line. I don't know how it works if it's like Chainlink. I think they make Chainlink 1 Skull Guardian to search, and then Chainlink 2 is low to summon back. Yeah, so that was definitely the line. And so now he just gets Skull Guardian on board. Oh, he used Saphira, and I chain Impulse, so he couldn't summon it. And then negates it with Judgment. Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, he had both the cards to stop both my plays. Pretty nutty. And then yeah, he gets the Skull Guardian from here, and then when he has Skull Guardian, it's just over. It's just over. There's absolutely nothing you can do. I mean, I guess that's not totally true, but for the most part, I'm on top deck mode. I even Prince. I don't know how much Prince is doing here. A Prince into a Skull Guardian, assuming they have nothing else. Which he also is going to get the trap card. Well, he already has a trap card. So he has a trap, plus he has the whole setup. So, yeah, I think I eventually just scoop it up from here because I realized I knew I made an error with how I played. I think I still wait. So this is I want to say I still wait. I do. So I think that's important. Even though I kind of knew the game was over, I'm still waiting to see what my top deck is. You never know. I could just normal summon Prince and he doesn't react with it. He doesn't interact with it whatever the correct way would look like, and who knows? I don't know. I definitely say play it out, or at least look for the top deck. But yeah, so on to game 3. So funny thing with game 3 was I felt like, so the one is an unofficial match, so I didn't care. Well, I obviously I care, but I there wasn't as much on the line. 2, I wanted to test just to see how strong water is, and I was very curious to know. So there's been a couple games now, like with the Salad board and like with the Fiendsmith board and like Rescue Ace as well. There's been some games where we have been watching water with almost all engine or purely all engine breaking full completed boards and still killing them in the same turn, or going far enough to where you win on the crackback. Really though, I think every time I've broken a board, I have lethal the same turn. But so with this match, I was like, you know what? I want to make this game interesting. I don't want to beat him turn 1. I don't want to just Prince, look at his hand, and then just end the game, because I know that's what's going to happen. I know I'm going to open a God hand. I'm gonna snipe all of his hand traps, and I'm just going to Moulin him, put up 3 Omni Gates, and it's just like, what do we do? What are we doing? Nice match, So I'm like, you know what? I'll let him go first, and it worked out really well. So he's over there like signed in 15 cards and out, and I decided for going second already, so I didn't side at all. I started shuffling. I was shuffling for like literally like the whole 3 minutes or so that he was siding. And then eventually I'm like around right here I'm like, yeah, you can go first. And he's like, oh wow. And so it was actually perfect because he told me he sided in like 15 hand traps. He saw like double Dominus Purge, and that was it. And in terms of non-engine. And then I saw all water cards. It's double Prince, Squad, Teus, Gun. So a beefy full water hand versus full like he opened pre-prep, so he's going all the way. Um, so he opened all of the voiceless cards he needed to like put up a full voiceless voice board up or whatever. So that's what we're seeing here today. We're gonna see water, I guess, play into this board, and I've watched it a couple times. Again, there's always places where I see that I'm misplaying and I could order my operations a little better, but overall, I think I did okay. But we're still looking for all the little tidbits that we can find. So that way, and during the regional, I can do well, and hopefully like, these minor tweaks to my technical play and my order of operations can actually make a difference. But yeah, so he's going for a minute here, I almost want to skip it, but I'm not going to. Let's see, what do we got here? Regional coming up. I guess I talk about that. I'm really excited for it. I'm very confident. I feel like I'm just going to steamroll. But at the same time, I'm really nervous that I'm just going to get my booty whooped at the same time. And I'm going to have like nothing to show for, I don't know, all the time I've been spending playing this deck. I really want to do well. I think I took water. Yeah, I took water to one regional, and it was Ice Shade Atlantean when water should not have been taken to a regional. I was way over my head, and I thought because I had a couple decent local showings that I could play against. It wasn't Snake Eye, but there were Fire Kings. I think it was it was during Rescue Ace too. So back to the game. So he does full voiceless board, and what that is he has Dominus Purge. He has the Skull Guardian negate, and he has his protection spells, whatever these do. He has the voiceless trap as well, and he also has a Suravis. That thing will eventually come up, the one that like stops his summon. So he has one non-engine, an Omni negate, a trap interruption, and a summon interruption. So 4 of those bad boys. Plus, the protections and the beefs that the deck has. It's not like you can just run it over. It's pretty beefy. Yeah, so there's the trap. And he also has Suravis somewhere in here. I think he actually has 2. I think he gets himself to 2. I think he gets 1 on board, and he has 1 in hand. Yeah, so he has like multiple protection cards, interruption cards, and I opened with no non-engine. So that was very excited just to see if we can like steamroll this. So we started play off with normal summon Prince. The reason I start with normal summon Prince is because the only way he can interact with it is through the trap. And if he wants to hit with the trap, well then I have the 1-for-1 to continue from there. And and so like really we're just baiting a bunch of cards out at this point. That's what Water I think does really good at. To someone who doesn't know how to interact with it, we're activating so many effects. And every single one of them feels so important. And it's a big issue that Dragoons is not once per turn, because it just feels the fact that Dragoons isn't once per turn, and the fact that we're triggering it 3 to 5 times a turn, it just makes you feel like eventually you need to stop it, or eventually you need to hit it. And that's what he does here. So Prince adds the Shrine, and then Dragoons attempts to add, and he uses Dominus Purge on it, which probably use Dominus Purge on Prince, although it doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. They were both baits, but at the same time, if you don't stop them, I just go so much further. The Dragoons probably grabs me Megalo, so he stops the Megalo search, which is pretty cool. And so now we're explaining, now I'm doing Teus discard squad, and again, just trying to further bait out interruptions. If he doesn't do anything about it, then we just keep going further. Which is what we're doing. We're just slowly trying to just accumulate a bunch of bodies on board and just see what he wants to waste his interruptions on, before we start trying to break it. Because we don't know what pieces we have to actually kill him yet. All we know because of his interruptions. So I'm just kind of waiting to find out what pieces of the puzzle I will be equipped with to try and actually go for lethal here. Yeah, so squad summons Pike from our deck. I don't know if I didn't see what our Teus searched. I think it searched another. I think Teus searched another squad. I'm so sorry. I completely messed up here. Yeah, Teus added a second squad, and now Pike is activating. and Pike is discarding Prince to attempt to ebb. So again, just further just baiting out cards. Now I will say he used his Skull Guardian negate and destroy on this. I think that's fine. I think if anything, that was probably a good target, kind of, because I was gonna get to a rank 4 play. Although he could have saved the. It kind of ends in the same thing overall. So when I get here, he uses the trap. Oh, and he summons Ceravis somehow. Because I summoned a monster. One of his spells lets him make a ritual summon. So he gets the Ceravis on board, and then he uses the trap to take care of 2 of my waters. Now, personally, it kind of would have ended in the same in the same circumstance, whether you use the trap. Well, I guess not. I guess you probably hold Skull Guardian there, and you probably just use the trap. In case you're watching this, buddy, here, since I had Pike on board and I just summoned Prince, that means I was showing a rank 4 play because my Prince is gonna grab back Dragoons. You probably just wait for the Dragoons to summon back to the field, and then you just pop the Pike in the Dragoons. And yeah, I get to search off the Pike, and it's another card I can use down the line for sure. Excuse me, but I think you kind of using your Skull Guardian and Trap on the Teus, Dragoons, and Pike. It was kind of like you used 2 interruptions on one thing when you could have just used one the whole time. So I think you could have got better value out of your Skull Guardian. I kind of look at Skull Guardian as a card that you only really want to negate the thing that's going to kill you, and none of these cards are killing you. So, so from here, we're activating Shrine, and we're pitching the squad in our hands. No effect off the squad, but at this point, we're just triggering cards. And so now we get the Deep Sea King here, and he can't Ceravis this because it's not an inherent summon, and that's about the last card that I'm actually worried about right now. So other than that, he is basically out of interruptions, and so he's not able to do anything about this. And so here I wasn't sure if Deep Sea King has to summon as many fishes as possible, like it reads, which I think it does, because I would have liked to have been able to trigger my gun that I discarded, but in the off chance that he does have something to like a Veiler or something to hit my Deep Sea King, I still want to discard the gun anyways. So yeah, the value, it's like I lost value to gain value, but then if I didn't send a gun there and he stops my Deep Sea King, then I'm stuck in the mud right there. And so I think it's just something you have to accept that, yeah, I'm wasting water cards to do something else, but I still got to where I wanted to get to anyways. So yeah, it's a little awkward. But yeah, so we're going for Porpoise here. Now, I don't know. So he's debating if he wants to Ceravis this. And now I don't understand. I think Ceravis negates the summon. I'm not positive. Or does Porpoise still activate on summon and then he can Ceravis banish it? Not too sure how that works. Again, it didn't really matter because I had a Pike on board, and I was trying to Porpoise a monster, another Pike back to go to rank 4. So this is kind of the same. So it didn't really matter in this scenario. His Ceravis was doing the same thing the whole time, and I would have had the same amount of bodies on board this whole time. And at this point, I'm basically calling that he's out of interruptions. Especially like if they're not going to Veil or the Coral, I assume like you're just out of it at this point. And so now I'm just trying to find lethal. And one of the best things about the Poseidra XC, again, just another bluff, just checking him for random hand traps that he might waste, just activating the guy for no reason. But going to Poseidra here, one of the awesome things about Poseidra is that since it sends Dragoons, even though you're on no cards, you automatically have a water in hand to trigger the king. Just because the fact that you can send Dragoons, spin the board back, and then use Coral and Poseidra to go into king, and then you get the 3 back from Poseidra and the equip spell. It's pretty nutty. So at this point we're just cleaning up. Now, off the cards I had to send back to his hand with Poseidra, I had no idea what cards to send back. It probably never mattered. Maybe the fact that I left Skull Guardian on board, and that's probably the scariest card to leave on board, honestly. Maybe I shouldn't have. I knew the line to get rid of it, so I wasn't super worried about it. And putting the spells back to hand felt so silly, but I didn't really know what I wanted to hit with it, and I didn't think it mattered either. I kind of saw lethal at this point, because at this point I'm remembering that Triana can summon back Poseidra, so I know I have a 3k body there. I know that I sent Shift, so I know I can make a level 8 synchro. And then, man, Trish would not be a bad card because because like in these scenarios, you could just make a Trish instead of making an Ashcan, which is very interesting with another deck I am testing that I might actually play last minute for the regional instead of what I've been playing. Still water, just a slightly different version that I've mentioned. But yeah, so what did I do? So a little funny thing here, I guess real quick, is so Poseidon discarded infantry to summon back the three bodies. And so on a new chain link, it's King is chain link, or no, infantry is chain link 1 to target Skull Guardian to pop it, and then King is chain link 2 to add the equip spell. So we go through them. So I forgot about infantry, and it is a mandatory effect. So even if I forget about it, I still have to resolve it. So I remember here, like, oh hey, my infantry had to pop your Skull Guardian, and he's like, oh well, I had Cerebus, I can target negate it. Well, that's not actually true. So there's two things there's a reason this matters too. So first of all, he could not have target negated my he could not have target negated my Skull Guardian because infantry was chain link 1. So infantry does pop Skull Guardian. But then also, he has a spell in here. Well, he doesn't have the spell. He added it back in his hand, wishing he didn't. But so this voiceless ritual spell, when a ritual monster leaves the board, he can summon a ritual monster from his deck. So if he summons another ritual monster, when I eventually go Ashcan, he can technically he can then Cerebus that. So then he would stay alive, which is a little scary thinking about it now. So yeah, I guess we definitely want to keep that spell in the graveyard, that ritual spell. So here it ends up working out for me, luckily. So maybe I didn't have like, I mean, I obviously have legit lethal, but maybe I didn't have lethal in the best form here. Because I do get all this going, but technically, and so I'm able to banish the Skull Guardian. He doesn't have the ritual spell to float, and this is lethal. Oh, but if he can summon another monster, I don't know how this one plays out. Maybe not too well in my favor, honestly. So that's something to consider. But yeah, so cool game here. Got to break a board, that's really all I want. That's all I want to do with water. Honestly, I just want to go second. I want to open 0 hand traps, and I just want to see how far I can go and if I can just kill you, It's pretty awesome. It's pretty fun. Like, water is it's just like it's peak deck, dude. It's like, water is nearly unbeatable if it goes first. I mean, you literally have to open like a hand trap. I mean, even a hand trap nib does not do it. You at least need like 2 hand traps and a nib, or you need droll. Maybe in droll by itself shouldn't be enough either. And really, it's like just shifter. And if you don't have those, I mean, this deck is like unbeatable going first. If you're not fucking up like I am in some of these earlier matches. And then going second, I mean, this deck, everyone said that water had a bad going second, and that's why it's not more competitively viable. I don't think that's true. I think water does really well going second, and I think you really probably don't. I don't want to say you don't need to play any hand traps, but does it not feel like that sometimes? It definitely feels like that for me, and I'm definitely too scared to try it. But you probably could get away with it and do okay. But yeah, man, I am tired. It's right before bedtime, and I just want to get this last match in so I can have another double upload for today, since you guys are watching this on a Friday and it is currently Thursday night. But yeah, so I guess final thoughts here. Thanks for the bonus match. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for letting me get to play against Voiceless. I definitely could have played it better. I have to go back and watch it again. And let's see. I might do a combo tutorial or test hand video. I'm not really good with combo tutorials, but you guys have left enough comments on some of my videos to where I'm thinking like, man, maybe I should show like combos. I don't do combos. I just look at the hand I'm dealt and I just kind of figure out what I want to do. So I could do test hands and then kind of go through my thought process on what I think is like what's the line, and I guess like how to play around as many hand traps as possible. I don't know. I could probably try something. If I did, it'd be Saturday. So maybe look forward to an extra crazy video Saturday. I don't know. And then it's our last locals before the regional. So Yeah, pretty hyped, dude. I'm getting nervous, dude. I need to start doing well with this deck. It's I want to top this regional. I've never topped a regional before. I've gotten my invite twice, and I've topped a case tournament. That's it. That's all I've ever done. And a lot of that is a recent. I got my first invite with ABC back in like 2017 or 2016, whenever that was. And then I got my second invite this last year with Vanadium, and then I topped like second or third place at like a 75 man or so case tournament with Vanadium as well. Back when Baron was still around. So since then I haven't done anything, and I would love to get my first ever top. Regional top with water, and just get my first invite with water. I mean, that would be cool too. But yeah, all right, done rambling. All right, good night, guys. Thanks for watching, and peace.